Finding big data is sort of a moving target right now, and there's a lot of ways that people are looking at it. Big data, I think, at its lowest level or its easiest defined level is analytics and data that can no longer really be handled by traditional tools that we might have in our ecosystem. And I think an awful lot of talk about Hadoop has entered this conversation, but Hadoop's not the only place that big data happens. Big data has been around a good long time. We're doing it a little different now, but back in the more traditional times, we did big data in a scientific level, and you got a government grant and a bunch of cray computers to do it. And now we can do it on less expensive hardware, and we have technology that's caught up that helps us do it. And so big data is everywhere in the enterprise, not just in these new NoSQL or NewSQL environments, but it's happening in our data warehouses, it's happening on analytic platforms, it's happening in the cloud. Big data is just about everywhere in our ecosystem. We're very much in the beginning of big data. There's a lot of hurdles to jump over, especially for those companies that are only looking at Hadoop as an alternative. There's a skill set that needs to be kind of gotten to, and I think a lot of companies are struggling with that. So no, big data is still very early on, and we're going to see a lot more of it. Now big data is one of many platforms that's entered our environment, and it's really about matching up the data with the workload and trying to get the best platform that can supply the information based on those two criteria going in. So it's a huge impact, and if you get it right, you start to get insights that we couldn't get before because the samples or the data is a lot larger, so we're looking at a much bigger volume of information. When we look at more data, we tend to get greater insight, not all the time, but generally speaking. And these new infrastructures and platforms allow us to execute that. So I think it's just going to drive the sophistication of analytics for most companies, and I think that you're going to find that big data has a spot in everybody's ecosystem at some level or another. Some companies will put an awful lot of energy into it, and other companies will just use it as part of their arsenal for getting what they need out of information.